This is a sponsored video because I gotta save up money for my studio. There, the jingle is back. Are you guys happy? This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with thousands of classes in design, business, and more. I've personally been using the site for months, even before they sponsored me, and I've watched like a triple billion classes about things relative to what I want to improve on in my YouTube business. Things like creative writing, songwriting, illustration, composition, stylization, storyboarding tips, narrative storytelling, business time management, entertaining nonfiction writing, comedy, art program tutorials, all examples of classes that I have saved so I can listen to while I work. I'm someone who really thrives when I'm given directions, so these sort of online classes that I can watch and rewatch at my own pace do me a whole lot of good. And I'm willing to bet they got a lot of classes you could use too. Hobbyists and professionals and simply curious people alike all have something to gain because this site is just so helpful. I love it. Mwah. A premium membership with Skillshare gives you unlimited access to all of the thousands of classes that they have available so you can find what's right for you. Skillshare is giving away a free 2-month unlimited access trial to my subscribers who click the link in the description box, and after that, it's only $10 a month. I personally recommend the class Going Viral by Matt Belisai. I watched it a while back because I'm lacking a little confidence in how entertaining my speed paint scripts are, and he had a lot of really good tips on how to craft unique topics that I've been using to plan my videos in the future. Again, click the link down in the description to get 2 months of Skillshare for free, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Mwah! Howdy hey! Oh my goodness, I'm Ray. With a new video today. Pokemon Sword and Shield is finally out, and boy, God, Jesus Christ, howdy, what a dramatic launch. I know there was a lot of controversy over the National Pokedex being cut. As a lifelong, die-hard Pokemon fan, I gotta tell you guys, personally, I could care less. The cut didn't bother me at all. I was more focused on what the new Pokemon would be. Game Freak was surprisingly quiet about the new additions. This is probably the generation where we got the least amount of spoilers going into the game, but of course, someone leaked everything like a week or so before launch. I couldn't resist, so I checked the full Galar Dex leak, and my feelings were mixed. I thought a lot of the designs were fine, but just didn't look like Pokemon? Like, they looked good, but they looked like they belonged to a different game's IP because they were just different enough that they looked foreign, which is weird saying about a new region's Pokemon, but like, does that make sense? Like, they looked like good designs, but they didn't look like Pokemon designs. So right off the bat, I knew that I wanted to redesign some of them, but I had to wait for the game to release so I could see how the designs were intended to be utilized in action and see what people were saying the designs were based on so I could form my solid, final opinions as they were meant to be made in the game when you saw them, and then start redesigning. 2 disclaimers before we get restarted. First, these redesigns are just based on my personal opinion on what would make them look more like traditional Pokemon to me. I'm not saying the designs are bad because there's only like 4 that I genuinely dislike. I'm saying they look off-brand to me. And I'm also not saying that my design input is like the end-all, be-all, this is the best design and this should be the final design. No. This is me pretending that I'm on the revisionist team. Like, if these designs were brought to me as rough drafts, my redesigns in this video would be my notes of here's the direction I think you should go in, and then somebody else would take all these notes and then make a final design. My second disclaimer is, wow, this was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Respect to Game Freak for designing the decks, no matter my opinion of it. I got so stumped so many times while redesigning these because conveying my thoughts to paper was just so much easier in concept. I acknowledge some of my designs still don't look like Pokemon. I'm just trying to convey my thoughts as clearly as possible. So, without further ado, Galar Dex review. First is Grookey's line. Nothing super notable, honestly, it's a solid line. I'm neither impressed nor disappointed, except for Rillaboom's signature move. That was a letdown compared to Snipe Shot and Pyro Ball looking as sexy as they do. But otherwise, good line, all approved. Scorbunny line. I had a problem, so it's speed paint time. When I first saw the leaks for Galar, I thought that Cinderace was Scorbunny's second stage evolution rather than its third. And I loved it as a second stage, but finding out that it was the final evolution, I was less impressed. I really wasn't a fan of Raboot's design either. I thought that Raboot's design strayed a bit too far from the other two to work as an appropriate bridge. I love the hoodie pockets that he has, but the uniform going all black and looking like a bodysuit was a little bit strange. For Cinderace, I thought that the accent designs on his face and shorts being so intricate made him look small. I think that's why I thought he was a second stage, and I'm not really sure why it would have that effect to my eyes, but for some reason it was just, I saw it as small, and I keep seeing him as like a really small starter. I'm not sure why. Additionally, I don't think designs that intricate are suited very well for a starter line, so I simplified him. I gave him more rabbit-like hind legs for good measure, and I made Raboot's uniform a little closer to his final form, and there we go. First redesign's done. Moving on. The Sobble line I didn't like when I first saw it, but the moment I saw Inteleon use Snipe Shot, he stole my heart. So I love him now. Drizzle's colors are weird, but I understand that they were going for crybaby kid becomes emo, so I'll begrudgingly accept it. Good line. Approved. Pulling the brakes again already for Squavit. Obligatory Route 1 rodent. The first stage looks fine. Squavit's cute. He looks good. Greedent, though, is jarring. There's not a lot of change between stages to make it look... It's hard to explain this. The first one always looks more simple, and the second one doesn't look like a bigger, simple design. It looks like a different, simple design. He looks more like a normal, boring cartoon rodent than Squavit does, if that makes sense. I decided to play up his fat cheek aspect. I pulled his freckles into an oblong kind of shape, just to look a bit more fantasy-like. And I adjusted his colors to be a bit more like Squavit's, but shifted to their orange accent on the freckles. And that's my Greedent. What a lad. I still wouldn't ever use one on my team, but there he is. Fixed. Corviknight's line is fun. I didn't expect him to be our Route 1 bird, but fun concept, fun line, all approved. And stopping again at Blipbug. Obligatory Route 1 bug. At first, I wasn't sure about this line because they didn't look terribly cohesive, but then I had to accept the fact that really none of the bug lines look like each other in the previous gens, so that's fine. I'll leave it be. I do think, though, that Orbeetle was also a little over-designed, like, again, too intricate. This is where I first really started struggling translating my thoughts to paper, so I wimped out on changing him too much. I mostly just simplified his eyebrows and elongated his eyes to reflect Blipbug and Dottler's oval eyes. I shortened his limbs a little bit and tweaked some of the accents to a design. I feel like I intended to change the design a lot more than I did, but I can't even begin to imagine what my initial idea was anymore. That was hard. Fixed? Maybe? Moving on. I wasn't a fan of Nicket's line either. Like, it's cute, but I mostly just didn't like the colors. I thought that they were too natural, but also too dark. This is similar to the problem that I had with my Kwami redesign. It looks too real and also too dull to really fit into the standards for Pokemon. Like, maybe this would fly in a Gen 1 design if the orange was brighter, but I don't really think it flies anymore. You know, the standard of what a Pokemon looks like does shift a little bit as the gens come out. Just this gen shifted really suddenly, and I don't know how I feel about it. So I changed the dark orange to a more vibrant red shade, and I shifted the dark brown to a dark blue, and then I removed the tear marks on Nicket because it felt cluttered. For Thievul, I changed his pelt pattern to look a bit more like a thief, kind of. He ended up looking more like a spy than a burglar, but I think, in general, adjusting his pelt to kind of reflect the thief aspect would have been more interesting. So, there. That's my redesign. Moving on. Gossifler's line is excellent. It's everything that I expect in a staple grass type. I love you. Approved. Everybody loves Wooloo and Dubwool. They're good. Though, might I say, if Game Freak weren't cowards, Baphomet would have been a fantastic name for Dubwool. But they wouldn't. No balls. Cowards. Anyway, approved. Wooloo's good. Dreadnought's design is sexy. Not in the actual sex appeal sort of way, but in the, scrumptious, that looks really good, guys. You did a good job with this. Beefy looking boy. I like him. I wasn't sure about Choodle at first, but man, look at that face. Look at that unhinged jaw. Ugly baby. I love you. Approved. Yampier I had problems with, so it was unveiled, so let's go. Yampier's colors were strange to me because it got the normal dog colors, but then also the yellow accent. And then because it had a yellow as an accent, that made the lime green accent look really weird to me. But overall, I love the shape. Very fantasy-like to just remove his legs, Game Freak. Very brave. But whereas Yampier looks like a fantasy blob corgi, Boltund looks more like a normal dog with a nasty shade of green. So I shifted the tan on Yampier to a slightly darker yellow, which made the green accent look more at home. And I gave Boltund some extra elements, like the spiky wrist cuffs and turning Yampier's neck pillow into like a spiked necklace thing. I have no idea what you would call that. I changed up the color placement. I gave him a new green. I think this isn't the final green I would want for a final design. The green I chose is too gray, but I wasn't really sure where to go with it without falling back into the ugly green territory, and I didn't want to spend too much time on these since I had so many redesigns that I wanted to try and do. Yeah, this is what I ended up with. Quote-unquote fixed. Roly-Coly's line looks like a rock type that most gens have, and they're never really my thing, but I accept you as part of the package deal. I'm sure other people like your kind. Have fun in the world, little guy. Approved. Applin! Let's draw. I like the idea for Applin and its split evolutions. I think it's really cool, but my biggest problem with Applin was its rendering, I think. The pink pattern on top of the apple kind of looks like a cell-shaded highlight, but then the 3D model in the game is also shaded and given a highlight, so like by happenstance, it looks out of place to me, and I really think that's more at fault of the just translating a 2D design to 3D. I probably wouldn't have questioned it in the old Pixel 2D games. I think it's an unfortunate rendering effect that just comes across to me weird. So I just adjusted the apple's colors. I do think the colors on Falapel and Appleton are also just a bit out of place, so I just adjusted their green. Otherwise, Appleton is a friend. There's nothing else to change here. I love. Finally, I thought Falapel's arms are... I thought his arms just being inside the apple was really weird. Like, are they glued on? So I shoved his arms into the apple, had his fingers extend out sort of similar to a bat, and then I did a similar thing with his tail, fixed my immersion for how he can fly with that. Adjustments made. Fixed, quote-unquote. Moving on. Silicobra and Sandaconda are fine. Again, not my cup of tea, but they look like Pokemon to me. Welcome to the gang. Approved. Cramorant, I don't like. I dislike his colors, frankly. But I don't think just changing one color on him was worth redesigning the whole bird. Like, either make the beak gray or just get rid of the gray. Whatever. Approved, I guess. Arrokuda's line is good. These guys are fun. Look how happy. Approved. Toxel gets a redesign. Both Toxel and Toxicity I thought were way too saturated to fit in with other Pokemon, but I really love Toxicity's shape. He's very fun to draw. Toxel, though, I think looks more like a Lilo and Stitch character than a Pokemon. Like, that's just what it screamed to me initially. I don't know if anyone else is vibing with me on that. I adjusted his horns and his head shape. I gave him a few more fingers and toesies, and I tried to match his body shape a bit more to Toxicity's. Otherwise, this is a really fun line. This is all I would change. Moving on. Sizzlepede's line is really, really good. I think the rendering again in the first stage in particular makes it look kind of like a plastic toy, but that's mostly just a strange rendering effect on a 3D model, so I wouldn't really change anything here. This is approved. God, I love Clobopus. I love you, but I could do without Grapploct. To the drawing board. I get that he's supposed to look like a flashy wrestler, but so is Hawlucha, and Hawlucha is nice with his slightly more unsaturated colors that fit in better with the series. Plus, it's just a goddamn shame that he loses his cute little beady boppy boys. So, color adjustments, and I twisted the tentacles that he uses as arms around each other to have them knotted at the top to be like makeshift boxing gloves. Nothing too dramatic. These are my changes, all set, fixed, moving on. Sinistea and Poltegeist are fantastic conceptually and visually, absolutely approved. Hatena's line is flawless. I love you, queen. Approved. Impdimp I feverishly disliked when he was officially revealed. The colors looked awful and out of place. He was revealed at like the same time as Yampier, so both of them I was like, oh no, the colors. When I saw Morgrem and Grimmsnarl in the leaks, I liked their designs a lot more, but I still wasn't into the colors. And this is why I waited for the games to do anything. Then I saw them in the overworld of that glowing mushroom forest and saw that they were neon because they were meant to glow, and that won me over. Impdimp is still pretty weak, but Grimmsnarl makes my knees weak. Good boys, 10 out of 10, approved. Woodmane and Smash. Obstagoon's line is super fun. I like how they introduced the new evolution for regional variant concepts. That's really cool, that's approved. Berserker, I really disliked at first because at a glance, he looks more like an alternative form to Galarian Meowth than an evolution, because they look like the same height when you're just looking at them, but the Pokedex says that Berserker is in fact taller, and I like how scruffy his body is behind the beard, so I've learned to appreciate them, they're approved. Cursula is excellent and depressing. I love that it reflects the real-world loss of coral reefs, but that this Pokemon also happens the generation after Moraine was introduced and said to be overhunting the Corsola population in Alola, so I just think that this is super neat all around, that's really cool, approved. Sirfetch'd is fine, not my kind of Pokemon, but he looks good, he gets approval. Galarian Mr. Mime and Mr. Rhyme gave me a lot of bad feelings initially. I thought it was such a shame how Mr. Mime was originally one of those so bad they're fun designs, and they changed him to just a boring design in Galar. I didn't think this was fun at all, but seeing their tap dancing animation is incredibly endearing. Like, what better Pokemon to be chased by in the overworld? Super fun, absolutely approved. Runerigus has a really cool design, he's approved. I adore Alchemy and her evolution requirements, she's approved. Phalanx is fine, not my thing. I think the colors are a little off, but he's fine, he's approved. I have no feelings about Pinchurin one way or another, approved. Snom is baby approved! And then we get to Stonejourner, literal sentient Stonehenge Pokemon. I know exactly what to do with you. Okay, but seriously, what a lame design! Like, this is the first one that I genuinely wholeheartedly dislike. Like, Stonehenge would really just be better in general as an in-game location if you're gonna reference it, but basing a Pokemon on it and all you can think of is sentient Stonehenge with arms? Whack! I know my design looks nothing like a Pokemon. I frankly had no idea what to do with this dude because I think he's a bad idea all around. But if I had to make a Stonehenge Pokemon, I think it would be indefinitely more interesting to go with the theory that Stonehenge is a grave site and make it a ghost rock type, and have a Pokemon be simple little ghosts that stay with the rocks or inhabit it. I don't like the design I came up with. I just think it's better in concept than Stonejourner. Anyone who claims to be a Stonejourner stan is a liar. Fixed, I guess. Anyway. I also didn't like Ice Cube at all. Why on earth they thought a normal ice cube on a normal penguin body looked good is beyond me. I didn't manage to record the speed paint, but I just incorporated the ice more and I made the colors more blue. Fixed. Fuck. Indeedee is okay. It looks Pokemon enough. Approved. Morpeko is good. Anything that keeps Marnie happy keeps me happy. They're approved. Kufant and Kuparaja are the last two that I just flat out didn't like. I'm actually shocked by how many people I see love these designs, so I guess I'm pretty alone in this opinion. That's fine. Personally, I think the colors stick out way too much in their saturation. Same thing I've been saying for most of these designs. I understand they're supposed to look like they're from India, and the colors do look very Indian. I just don't think they look very Pokemon. I don't like their body shapes. Like, just give them a neck. Like, just give them a neck. I also adjusted their ears a little bit for my personal preference, and of course I muted the colors. I changed some of the color patterns on their body, mostly Kuparaja, so that their color patterns were more obviously simple shapes than just squiggles. I thought that was a better look, and yeah, that's how I fixed them. I like them better this way, but I mean, if you guys like them normally, that's fine. Initially, I wasn't a fan of the fossil Pokemon. I thought that mixing fossils was a really cool concept, but I thought it would be cooler if their fusions were more fused. But then I heard that they were supposed to reflect how the UK originally handled fossils that they couldn't identify, and I realized that this dude's head was upside down, and that's great. I really like the detail that they put into putting these together wrong. That's fun. They're all good boys, all approved. Duraludon is like Carkol. It's not my thing. It looks fine. I see why other people would like it. It's the kind of design I would expect from these games. He's approved. I really liked Dreepy. The other two I have minor problems with. Again, I think the colors are a little too much. I mostly think that Dracoloak and Dragapult's heads are too much like airplanes. Like, mechanical parts on Pokemon isn't new, but these are dragon ghost types. If they were Ghost Steel, I don't think I'd question it at all. But because they aren't, it seems too aeromorphy. Which is interesting because, like, the resident aeromorph legendaries being Latios and Latias, like, they're pretty organic looking, you know? Like, they didn't need to just be steel or just be airplanes. I even checked to see if they would learn a bunch of steel-type moves that would have maybe justified that the design team thought about steel a lot while designing this character, but no, he can only learn a steel-type move, one steel-type move with a TM. So I just messed with their colors a little bit, and then the only other changes I made was trying to make their heads more natural looking. You can't see my Dragapult's tummy, but like, assume it looks the same. That's my only change. That's how I would fix this. All the remaining legendaries and Galar variants look great, save for that asshole. Fuck you. Fuck you, Game Freak. Fuck you. So there we are, like 27 Pokemon redesigns for the price of one speed paint. Like I said, this wasn't what I thought their final designs should be, just some notes I would have submitted if I were on the design team. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments or even redesign my redesigns. Maybe post them to my Amino or my Discord so I can see them, mayhaps? We tried out a really different editing style for this video, so I hope it was fun. Took a lot longer to put together than normal, but I hope it's fun. Side note, I did a blind Nuzlocke with Pokemon Sword, and I've been animating parts of my run to post on my Patreon, along with all my other works in progress and early uploads for my comics. If you want to see those, they're over there. It only costs like $2 a month to support me and get you everything I post. And $10 a month gets your name read at the end of my videos, just like this. Thank you so much to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Blue Horseman 5, Dexter Koch, Chris Daru, Hats Josuke, Judas, Sugar Syringe, Daniel Baton, Ski, Mama Ski, Kiba Rai, Roxas Prowers, Furryfied Arts, Emily George, Royal Barrel, Cayenne Peppers, Claire Baron Goldman, Drex, a Gremlin, Duvong 00, Charmaine Lee, Jonaya, Jane Yabear, Jacob Goodwin, Broken Levi, Hachiyubi, It's Katie, Blue Turtlebug, Diddy, Embla, Hazel Grace, Sleepy Ommel, Drunken Literary, Matthias Michelson, John Brooks Eisenman Jr., Peachy Man, Saya Rika, Field of Starlight, Kaya Oof, Honeybee, Nimu Koss, Ditzy, Luke B, Inky, Balaki, Putera, Larina Fairy, Alex the Cake Anon, Jarn Hunstock, Sinister Stephanie, Zelos Tokumoto, Pablo the One, Tiny, Jonathan Nemoisy, The Orc Cafe, Red Pandasees, Omar Reyes, Seb, Snow Sergeant, Cheese Sprout, Stephen Foggia, Malochu, Midnight Paradise, The Messenger, Insanity, Firework Cat 25, Troll Killer 254, Flaming Puppeteer, Gabriel, Echo Titan, Chris Sigma, Ninsku, Jeremy Reedinger, Muzz Fuzz, Dandy Canary, Wummelsdorf Art, East West 333, Skulldackery, Daddy Dahmer, Lily Pia, TV Island, Kohler 32ra, Dylan MX, Emma Joy, Shell, Ethan Gardner, Nico Starcy, Caleb Whitman, James Zamora, Arwin, Shadows, Seth Haynes, Ace No Thanks, Hannah, Crazy Kitsune, Cookie Brook, Singing Joe, Lind Asia, Chia Rico, Dosco, Makaru, Morty LS, Silvermane 67, Cute Cadaver 18, Sweets, Lilac Witch Kiki, Too Much Spirit, Arctic Sentry, Give That Frog a Hug, Dust Munchies, Erin Virgil, Zephestus, Aki Candy, Mickey Ann, Double Anon, Officially, Jordan Brooks, Baked Potatoes, Free Flight, Jacob Dunnan, Chesamoon 18, Antiqua, Aswick, Gus Daniels, Daniel Saria, Michael, Andre, Kaisa, Hi, Fallen Zippo, Spooky, Faley, Zebulite, Mew Smith, Swift Chaos, The Scorched Blaze, Doodle Crazy Meg, Mercy Mayhem, Star Stevenson, Night Mage 14, A Myriad of Stars, Good Spartan 117, Dead Tinez, Elmira 503, T Arctic 1, Michael McLaughlin, Koda Kaido, Johnny, JB Mayday, Matsuo Tanuki, Kurt Coolman, Filoso Fox, Lyratu, Andrew Robinson, Dabber the Bard, Jakey Jellybean, Fox, Sound Alchemy, Old Man Dunsparce, Flickers, Hikari Yu, Stratus Wind, The Lovely Kiara, Orion Horizon, Archibald Anarchy, Millabelle, Trash Zuma, Zelphus, Yuka, Cavalry, SS Ignidnair, Namorphous, Isami, Mario, Sylveon Dream, Skill Dragon Sylvie, Al Lewis, Chyler B, Penumbra, Nico, Nikozawa, Johnny Stars, Hikian, Frenchie the Fry, Katie Did Nothing, Cater, Dan Warren, Angel Cakes, Rasuri On, Billy MX, Dojo Kid, Blast 10 Away, Shadozers 0615, Cameron Grace, Sweet Sammy Baby, Patty Melt, Fire Mega Man Zero, Russell the Jimmies, A Shadow Inada, Angel Fuentes, Lena Swagmaster, Ooh, Tim Nelson, Blue, and Kabuki. And then an extra special thanks to my $100 patrons, Stupid Genius, Rinima, Even Queer Oz, Ginger Emu, Nifty, Angel Hickman, Justin Inks, Raiden, Christian Pip, Volpe Bard, Snow Keith, Ian Kakado, and Force Raider. You guys are doing the absolute most. It means the world to me, and we'll be doing a Patreon Platinum game night on my Discord on December 7th. So please come hang out with me so I can get to know you guys better, so I can make your guys' reads at the end of my videos funny haha inside jokes. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Have a great day.